So we're back here again. Of course we are. Of course we are. In fact, people said in the last video, the last Avowed video, that they're not going to listen. Microsoft is totally in on this, and from what I just saw last week, yeah, Microsoft, they don't care anymore, and you guys were all totally right, and I was naive of thinking that, you know, Obsidian would, you know, at least have a moniker of decency or respect or integrity to actually, you know, pull him aside and, you know, give him a stern talking to at the very least, but that does not seem to be the case. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Makini90, art streamer and illustrator. Welcome you to another video here on the Makini Draws channel. Hope you all are doing well today. And yes, I am doing a part 3 of this Matt Hansen saga, because Eternal Slack messages were revealed, and it shows that Xbox and Obsidian, they're all for it. They are all in for this. They're all in for this mentality and mindset, and that is not the only person I'm going to be pointing. That's not the only person I'm going to be talking about today, because I'm going to be talking about another person today, another person at a Microsoft owned or at a Microsoft owned title, saying some disparaging things, and I think it just shows that whatever is going on with Xbox as a whole and Microsoft as a whole, to me, all I see is a sign of this isn't the same Xbox. This isn't the same Microsoft that we grew up and loved. This isn't them. And they're completely off the deep end at this point. And frankly, as we go further into this video, they're going to get what they deserve. I'm just going to be open and honest with you. They're going to get what they deserve. So let's get right into it, guys. Please smack that like button, make it jiggle. Smack that subscribe button and make it jiggle as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Love to hear from you guys, and of course, keep it civil. So let's get right into it. In the first video, I called out Avowed art director Matt Hansen for his, let's just put it, Elon derangement syndrome, which really that was about his very discriminatory and blatantly racist white savior complex. You just watch that first video. Just watch that first video. That video blew up. Absolutely incredible video, though. And then in the second video, which I had to do a follow-up, I made a call out to Obsidian to, you know, pull Matt Hansen aside and tell him, hey, this is making our game look bad. This is going to hurt the sales of our game if you keep acting like this, if you keep making those statements like that. And Matt Hansen needed to, you know, maybe Matt Hansen may need to come out and say, hey, maybe we were a little bit out of line, especially with that racial discriminatory tweet he made. But now I'm having to do a part 3 of this saga, because as what we discovered from Smash JT and from Fan of Pulse, there are leaked internal Slack messages from a whistleblower within Obsidian, and all it shows is that they're far gone at this point. They're so far gone. They're on steep, and I'm referring to the at Microsoft and the Xbox brand itself. They're so steeped into this mentality, this mindset of just going after customers and such like that. And honestly, is it worth getting mad over? Is it worth going? Is it not surprising? Because I think I'm just not surprised at this point. So let's get into it. This has come from Smash JT. Whistleblower exposes the incredibly toxic environment over Obsidian Entertainment when Obsidian Slack messages celebrating Elon Musk's attention over pronouns, ideological hostility, and massive leadership failures. A whistleblower within internal information from Obsidian Entertainment has come forward with shocking screenshots and Slack messages of Matt Hansen, completely exposing the company's internal toxic culture. This brave individual reached out to Smash with a burner email to protect their identity, of course, fear backlash and all that, and the information that he provided to Smash was very troubling, not just for Matt Hansen, but for the entire art environment he's created over the past few years in Obsidian. And I think this further proved what I was saying in the last video, that this is a toxic work environment, and this might be a case of toxic positivity. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. In a series of Slack messages from Obsidian's internal communications, revealing a hostile and toxic work environment led by none other than Matt Hansen, the art director himself. Hansen, who oversees many employees at the company, has by all accounts fostered an awful atmosphere where ideological conformity is not just encouraged, but demanded. So let's go ahead and get straight into these Slack messages. The internal Slack messages reveal a disturbing trend of certain employees at Obsidian banding together to ridicule and berate Elon Musk and former World of Warcraft team lead Mark Grumps on Twitter. Quote, why? Because they challenge the ideologies of anyone at Obsidian is likely to be encouraged by Hansen's leadership. And here's some excerpts from leaked messages. By the way, Smash's article is in the description, and I am going to be putting all of the images of the internal Slack channels up on the screen as well. And we're going to just go read through a lot of these here. So the first thing we start off with is Schwar Alvarez, who is celebrating the fact that Elon Musk made that tweet of pronouns being unacceptable. And Schwar also responds, "Let me know if this is too political, and I'll just delete it. It just thought going through was funny, getting a shout out by the man himself." Justin Boo with him in bio is saying, "This is a badge of honor. We did so well." So it's clearly they're celebrating this. Now, what is to continue? We have a continue one here of Jeremy Tedesco with him in his bio, basically playing the famous Jeremy Clarkson scene of "oh no." Anyway, last week, and Daniel Chamberlain responded, "I've never been more proud." Jay Turner saying, "Hey everyone, pack it up, we lost Grums," of course saying that sarcastically. And then Manolo Rosenberg responded to Jay Turner's response saying, "Lol, this was literally my suggestion, a bug to add pronouns in the menu. I do this. I kept forgetting what pronouns we picked for the QA servers and wanted to make sure that our gender dialogue was picking the right pronouns." So, yeah, they're taking a laugh of Elon Musk's tweet and people's meltdown issues and people's concern over, said pronouns in the game, and pronouns are being implemented, especially in the menus and such like that. And it seems to be very unnecessary and not needed, but it seems that developers are definitely taking some glee out of this and even wanting to implement even more throughout. It's not a good sign, especially with these Slack messages coming out as well. Now, we're going to have a continue the next part here. Olivia Burke reminds with a Zoolander quote, triggering conservative snowflakes is so hot right now. And then Matt Hansen, the ringleader, the art director-in-chief, says, "This rules. I'm fully giddy over it. Good game, everyone." Brisala, they do have their pronouns in their names as well. "Stupid will be stupid, but I never got over how insane half the pronouns are a hill to die on. If you have to pretend like it's not a backbone of language and grammar, then argue what? You shouldn't be able to choose what people call you in a role-playing game." Now, this is basically taking what they're saying is that, and basically just saying it's not a big deal. And my response is, if pronouns are not a big deal, then misgendering shouldn't be a big deal either. You can happily come at me with that. Matt Hansen says he is not a bright man. Now, if you're referring to either Grums or Elon, if you're referring to Elon, I wouldn't really call one of the richest people in the world who has a successful electric car company. SpaceX has his hands in many different things going on. Has, is supported the next sitting president. I wouldn't really call Elon that much of a bright man, is he? I wouldn't think of him as bright. It was saying he's stupid, That's just my opinion. I may not be eye to eye with Elon and everything, but I don't think he's an idiot either. Whatever. But Jeremy Tedesco replies, can luminaries negate luminous values? Okay, Peter Wano says, isn't that a dimwit? And John Wincor, Digimancy, says, not too late to add Oh, now this is the one that is a major red flag and a symbol of how toxic the workplace at Obsidian is possibly be, especially under Matt Hansen's tutelage. John Wincor, Digimancy, quoted at the end of this particular picture, not too late to add a rat creature to the game and name it elongated muskrat that indistinctly mumbles something about pronouns and drops shoddy blood-soaked emeralds when you stab it. I just want to remind you, this is the developers of the upcoming Avowed. I just want to remind you that this is the developers of the upcoming Avowed, and they are saying something like this. I think that ensures that I will never want to touch a single game by Obsidian at this point. Even if I were to even try out Fallout New Vegas, I probably wouldn't want to even touch that now. That's just my opinion, but this is not helping people sell your game, and honestly, that last comment is kind of a bit out of line in my humble opinion. It's really is out of line. Like having that, and now people are what people are going to now find is that people may try to find something like a character named Elongated Muskrat or something like that and naturally try that, and if that show in game, it just shows how just mentally unstable these people are, and just how honestly evil though, like honestly really evil though. Like if you think about it, it's just you take so much glee in Elon's tweet, Elon's concern, Elon's anger over this pronoun debacle implemented in the game, that you would actually make an NPC character that you could stab over and over, where he mumbles something about pronouns, and that's supposed to be a dig at Elon, when I think that's just going to make you guys look bad. I think that's just going to make the developers look bad. I think that's just going to... this isn't a professional way. Like this whole Slack channel just isn't really a professional way of going at it, especially if this is a public Slack channel where other employees at Obsidian are looking at. They're absolutely looking at. The messages reveal an environment where ideological hostility takes a precedence over any personal behavior. Employees are competing and taking increasing hostile jabs at Musk, where one is even suggesting mocking him through in-game content and killing him. And then we have someone like Brianna Seal, who goes by she, they, joins in and with her statement, I never get over how insane of a hill pronouns are to die on. It's just... I'm going to leave a link to the rest of Smash's article, but this toxic leadership is... This is going to hurt Obsidian in the long run. This is going to hurt Obsidian in the long run, and I said that they need to address this situation. They need to address all this, but apparently that's not the case because, quote, according to the concerns, a completely different whistleblower reached out to Smash, revealing that Matt Hansen is reportedly protected by the higher-ups at Microsoft, with his job completely secure despite the growing backlash of toxic work environment he's cultivated. And that is worrisome. And that is something where it was like, I don't have any like support for this studio, support for this game. Like, do I have to be at a point where I'm like, this game probably deserves to fail? Because that's where I'm feeling at right now. But, however, this is one half of a point that I want to make at the end of this video, and this is going to be basically my message to Microsoft at this point. Enter the Perfect Dark level designer, Kobe Payne. Now, Fandom Pulse broke the news on this one, so definitely go check him out. But I will also be reading from That Park Place by Marvin Montanaro. The level designer for Perfect Dark claimed gamers were a mistake, and that's just a long line of incendiary statements lobbed at paying customers. Kobe Payne, the level designer for the upcoming Perfect Dark Reboot, has a lot to say about who might purchase this game. The designer's long-standing hatred for the very people that keep him employed was exposed by John F. Trent in his Fandom Pulse article. These comments started back in 2021 when gamers noticed the objections to the Norse mythology race swap of Angrboda in God of War Ragnarok. Now, there was a lot of discussion about that whole race swap, and that definitely hearing from multiple sides of the aisle. I do think that I really don't know how to say that, but I did personally like 2018 God of War. I didn't play Ragnarok, so I still think that the race swap, despite that I think that Angrboda is a nice looking character, I do think that it's a little unnecessary, though. Quote, "The fact that it's 2021 and gamers still mad over a character being black just boggles my mind. It's time to grow up, you racist pigs. Angrboda looks absolutely stunning. Props to all the devs who worked on her. It's a creative decision many attribute to the aligned narrative design firm of Sweet Baby Inc., who worked on the Santa Monica Studios title." In the next tweet that Marvin is bringing up is the one regarding the death threats on Abby from The Last of Us voice actress Laura Bailey. Now, let me bring this to note. I've heard that as well, and I disavow those claims. In fact, a lot of gamers disavow those claims. We have a lot of people have a lot of problems with The Last of Us 2, the way its story is written, its way its characters are written, and especially with Abby's character. That shouldn't mean we should be going after Laura Bailey. Nobody should be going after Laura Bailey. She's just doing her job, and to be fair, she did a really good job in The Last of Us 2. February 2023, Colby responded, "Of course, no one's gamers were a mistake." Hence the title. "Of course, no one should support the harassment or death threats made to anyone, but instead calling out the bad apples in the gaming world who allegedly undertook such inappropriate actions, Payne decided to make a sweeping generalization. Without the mistake, Payne wouldn't have a job. Quote, if avoiding female protagonists in video games is all it takes to make the worst people you ever met not want to play them, then we should add female protagonists to every game." Not sure where that came from, but I think you're completely missing the point, because we've had female protagonists practically since Samus's inclusion in Super Metroid. We didn't have a problem with that. It's just how badly they're written, how badly they're implemented, and even in some cases, how badly they're designed. Seeing a lot of and it goes on. Another tweet from last year as well. He desires to push out desire to push gamers out of gaming has a real. This job would be great if it wasn't for all the customers vibe into it. The customers vibe in it. Quote Marvin in the article. Quote, "Seeing a lot of gamers turned off for Pride Month posts. I wish all the bigots can kindly F off and learn to love others for where they are. Gaming is for everyone except for the bigots." Yeah. yeah, that's to be honest, Colby, that's kind of bigoted coming from you. See, after Fandom Pulse exposed this toxic and hateful rhetoric, Colby Payne decided to deactivate his Twitter account. And from what we heard, he didn't seem to like go over to Blue Sky, which a lot of people usually do when they get in trouble or they ever get flack for their horrible tweets or, you know, being exposed for a horrible human being. They usually go to Blue Sky. I said my piece about Blue Sky. Go back to the previous videos. The Perfect Dark Reboot has already come under fire from the world of gaming due to the modern day redesigner of Joanna Dark. As all too typical in the gaming world, Joanna's jawline is widened, giving her a more masculine appearance. The Perfect Dark was announced back in 2020, however, it's believed that the game won't actually release until 2026. Perhaps if Payne and his co-workers spent more time working on their game and less tweeting about gamers, they managed to deliver a final product within a reasonable window. Which that's a good point, but this whole thing, along with Matt Hansen, basically just brings up my theory that Xbox and Microsoft just do not care anymore. Because keep in mind, Perfect Dark is by Crystal Dynamics, who have a not so solid track record for Tomb Raider, but they are working under the Microsoft umbrella, and Perfect Dark is, from what I can tell, an Xbox and PC exclusive. Avowed is an Xbox PC exclusive. I hope by now you guys can see what the pattern is here. And this is why I have a problem with the direction that Microsoft is going right now, and why I think that they have just given up on being a part of the console race. They've just given a part of being an actual competitor. I think they've given that up at this point, just being a, you know, on the level of a, sorry about that, on the level of, say, a third-party developer, or level of just a first-party developer just porting their games to other consoles, or instead of, you know, losing and not having that ambition to actually make consoles, where that wasn't the case, you know, decades ago. I made a post about this in my community tab last week, and I'm going to read this in quote. Pay very, very close attention to the Xbox in the coming year. Statements like what Colby Payne said, and coming from any Microsoft-owned studio with an upcoming game, will continue to diminish the Xbox brand. The AAA industry needs competitive consoles and PC to continue thriving, and stupid statements like these, especially with Matt Hansen, shows that this mindset and mentality is too infested within the industry to cut it out. So basically, it's like a cancer. Microsoft and Xbox need to get with a program and understand that people are sick and tired of this forced industry guidelines where we have to be on eggshells this entire time. With this inclusive, everyone's represented, push the gamers out because they're quote-unquote insert buzzword agenda pushing with their product inclusion action. People are sick of it. People are sick of just calling every developers, journalists, the media, just calling customers and gamers every single name under the bus and painting us out to be the bad guys when we all just want a good product with a message not shoved right in our faces the entire time. And I mean that, and I think that's what's going on with Xbox. I mean, you saw what happened with the whole Halo Studios trailer and how it seems that they are they're going to be more focused on the agenda with that brand moving forward. We've been seeing it creep in and creep out throughout the industry, not just through Xbox, but I think Xbox is just showing they don't care about being a competitor to Sony. They don't care about being a perennial player in the AAA console market, and even within the console market itself. And that's where I have such a serious problem with this, because it's sad, because this is not Microsoft, you know? I remember back when I remember back in the days of the original Xbox, and how it felt like Microsoft had, look at a lot of the old games that we had, you know, the Halos, the Forzas, you know, the Gears of Wars and such like that. Back in the days of the original Xbox, Microsoft felt like they had something to prove, that they could stand toe-to-toe with Sony in the PlayStation 2 and with Nintendo. at the time during the 6th generation with the GameCube and then the Wii. And then they hit their stride once the 360 came out. Once the dawn of the 7th generation consoles came out, they rose on top. They were basically the industry leader. And Sony had to play catch up while Nintendo was doing their own thing and being innovative at the same time, of course. But what ruined it, and I think what diminished their chances, and I think this was the moment that signaled just the downfall of the Xbox brand and why they are where they are right now, is the Xbox One. That launch was a disaster. You can't deny how disastrous that launch was, because because with one, they didn't care about actual gamers. They focused on TV integration and TV and other functionalities that aren't gaming. And Sony took advantage of that and ran with it. Xbox has been playing catch up ever since. Granted, they had some hits with the Xbox One. Granted, they did have some bangers with the Xbox One. And they did try to make up that goodwill that was lost by not focusing on gaming and not focusing on the players. But what I'm seeing right here with this iteration of the Xbox brand, I just see this as a company, as a competitor that's just given up trying to be a legitimate competitor, trying to have something to prove. And that's not what, to be honest, that's not what I want. I don't think that's what anyone wants. If you want this AAA industry to thrive, it needs competitors. It needs to be Xbox. It needs Xbox and Sony to be competitive. It needs Nintendo to be innovative. It needs everyone, including PC, to be competitive. It needs everyone to thrive. In this AAA, and specifically this AAA industry, it's not thriving. It just ain't thriving. And it's just I'm really bothered by that. I really am bothered by that, and I hate to see that, because I have an Xbox One. I played it for years. I still play it now. So many games I have a love for. I have a love for the 360, despite going through at least twice of it and suffering the red ring of death both times. But still, that's beside the point. It was a great console. I want to see Xbox go back to that way. I want to see Xbox go back to a time where they had something to prove, where they can stand toe to toe with the Sony, with the Nintendo, with the PC, and be that console powerhouse. It's not a powerhouse, especially when you have, let's be honest, activists. When you have activist developers like this running their mouth, like the Matt Hansons of the world, like the Kobe Paynes of the world. When you're focused on diversity, inclusivity strategies, when you're focused on product inclusion guidelines that just hinder creativity, that just hinder being innovative, that just hinder making actually good games that people want to play. I'm sorry, this ain't it, Xbox. This just ain't it. So, when February rolls around and Avowed comes out, if this game underperforms, they're going to follow the same playbook they've always been. Blame the gamers. Blame the content creators. Blame the quote-unquote YouTube grifters. Blame everyone, but not look in the mirror. Not look in the mirror even once. And my response will be, you get what you deserve. We told you. This was your chance to course correct. This was your chance to make things right. But just showing an ounce of respect to the players, to the customers, to the people who have been supporting your brand since day one. A lot of old heads are still playing the Xbox. A lot of old heads are still gaming. They still buy games. They still support these studios. They still support these companies. They're still vocal about it. But you're shoving them off aside. For what? ESG points? Diversity, equity, and inclusivity guidelines? The modern audience? What is it, Xbox? You don't care about being a competitor. And Sony, they've been running the console. They've been running the console game since the PS4, since that big jumble. Sony is now trying to monopolize everything, including the anime industry. So no, Microsoft, y'all gotta stop. This has gotta stop. Take your managed jawlines, your grocery store aunties, the effeminate beta males, the androgynous goblins pretending they represent biological women. Take your war on pretty, the war on the titty, the war on the femininity, and take it to the grave where it belongs. If you don't get your act together, make sure that grave is big enough for Uncle Phil and the Xbox brand to fit in as well. Oh, and by the way, take your exaggerated body proportions and stick it right up where the sun doesn't shine. That's just my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's keep it civil. Sorry if I was a little heated there, but this ain't it, Xbox. This ain't it. Massive thank you to everybody in the cute, sexy, and fun nation. If you guys want to see your name on the screen, join the channel for as low as $1 a month. Of course, follow me over on my socials, and I thank all of you for watching. As always, I'm Makini 90, artist, Jeremy, and illustrator. I'll see y'all next time for another video. So until then, stay cute, stay sexy, have fun. Never apologize for wanting attractive women in your media, especially in video games. Never apologize for voicing your concern about video games. And above all else, never stop drawing.